Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we won't just be creating any typical Python calculator. We'll be creating a calculator that has many operations that you might see typically on a scientific calculator. Now, I checked on YouTube, and most YouTubers, when you search up how to create a calculator with Python or something similar to that, you'll see that I couldn't really find any videos where they explained how to create a more a calculator that has functions other than addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So we'll be working on that today. So without any further ado, let's get right to it. So first, you're going to want to open your command line. So I'm opening my command line, and So for this tutorial, you'll want to use a folder that has no files in it, completely empty. You haven't changed any of its settings. Its permissions are, um, well, the permissions are not completely blocked and that kind of basic stuff. Now, if you want to create a new folder for this project, then you do mkdir, which stands for make directory, and then the name of the directory. So the name of the folder that you're gonna make. Now, I'm gonna put test. I'm just gonna name it test. Oh, it already exists. So I'll make directory calculator. And now I'm gonna do cd or change directory calculator. So now, as you can see here, before I was running the command line in this folder. Now I'm running it in this folder, and I can show you how that works. So it's in users ACES calculator. So I go to my C drive, I go to users, I go to ACES, and then within here, now there should be a new folder called calculator somewhere here. Where is it? Yep, right here. See, calculator. So it made the folder for us. And now we want to open this folder in a text editor. I use Visual Studio Code. So to open that, you're going to do code space dot. And that's going to open this calculator file in Visual Studio Code. So I press enter. It opens it up for me. And as you can see, it says calculator here. So this is the file that we'll be working in. Within this folder, you're going to want to create two files. The first one is going to be called, well, you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to call it calculator.py. And you're going to want to create another one called calculator history. All right. .txt. Actually, don't forget the .txt. It has to be a txt file. Otherwise, it might not work. So, I made a little Word document to kind of explain what we're going to do step by step. So I'm going to open up Word. I'm going to go to 1. Okay. And so first, we have to import math and OS. What this OS module does is it allows us to take advantage to kind of use the operating system. So for example, if you want to use the operating system's command line interface, we do os.system parentheses and then the command that we want to use. So for example, the CLS command, if you use Windows in the terminal, CLS clears the screen. So for example, you see the terminal right here, you see how I'm in the command line? If I do CLS, it clears the screen. Since Python runs in the terminal, we can use the CLS command to clear the Python terminal. So anyways, let's get to it. Import OS and import math. Now, you're probably wondering, why do I need to import math? Because in Python, I can already do addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Well, because we are going to be creating a slightly more advanced calculator. And remember, this video is only part 1 to the series. I'm expecting to make 3 to 4 more videos on this, so this file will keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger in each video. So next on the list was to use the CLS command now. So as you can see here, if I run this file right now, it shows me all of this stuff up here, right? We don't want to see any of this because that's junk stuff we don't even need. So first thing we're going to do is do os, and then we're going to use the system method. So os.system, and then within here you're going to put the command you want to use. So for example, you could do make directory, but for this one we'll be doing CLS to clear the screen. Now if you're using Linux, then you're going to put clear in here, because if you're using Linux in the terminal, clear is what you generally use to clear the terminal. Anyways, now we have to make some inputs. So we're going to want to ask whoever's using this calculator, we want to ask them, what kind of function they want to do, what kind of calculation they want to do. So we're going to say, no, we're going to make a variable called operation type is going to be the name. And you can name it whatever you want, and it's going to be equivalent to an input. And in this input, we're going to prompt them, what operation do you wish to perform? Question mark space. So what this does is it's going to basically ask you this question, and you can type in the answer. And yeah. So if I run this, it gives me an issue. Oh, oops. I'm on Windows, so CLS instead of clear. Let me try this one more time. Okay, now it's going to ask me what operation do I wish to perform. And I can type whatever I want in here. So, next we have to create an if statement. So if operation type dot lower. Now you're probably wondering, why do you need dot lower? Well, dot lower basically converts whatever you type into here into all lowercase letters, so that no matter what, if you type in all caps, if you type in all lowercase, if you're one of those people that accidentally puts capital letters in the middle of their words, then that won't change your results. And if operation type dot lower equals and factorial. So actually in the part 1 we're going to be working on factorial. So this is the main operation that we'll be working on for this part of the series. Now if they say factorial, then we have to ask them what number they want to find the factorial of. So to do that, we're going to say num equals input, and we're going to ask them what number do you want to find the factorial of. Okay, and let's just see if that's working real quick. I'm going to run this, and it's going to say what operation do you use to perform. I'm going to say factorial, and it says what number do you want to find. Yeah, so now that this input is up and running, we're going to want to convert this input into a float, because whenever you type in something to an input, whenever you give it an answer, it automatically thinks it's a string. String is basically something that can include numbers, letters, and symbols. So that won't work because Python can't really do operations with strings. It can do operations with numbers though. For example, 5, 4, 7, stuff like that, or 5.3. So it can also work with decimal points. So if we want to use, since we want to have, a little more of a precise calculator, we'll put float, basically meaning that you can put a decimal. If you want to find the factorial of a decimal number, you can do that. If you put integer here, then you can't put decimal numbers. So I recommend you put float. And then we're going to create another variable called answer, which is going to be equivalent to, so we're going to use the math module, and then we're going to use um, the factorial method. So what this does is it's going to find the factorial of whatever you put in here. So the parameters here are the number that you want to find the factorial of, which in this case is going to be num, or number. That's what we named our variable. So what this basically is going to do is you input this number, you input a number, and hopefully you don't put letters in there, otherwise it won't work. You can't type out, you can't say FIVE. You have to put the number 5. And it'll convert that into a float, which Python can do math with. And then it'll find the factorial of that number. So to do that, it's basically going to access this math module, which is kind of an extension to Python, which we did up here. We imported that so that we can use math, the math extension, the math library. And then within this math library, we want to use the factorial function to find the factorial of this number. And then we're going to want to clear the screen again so that we can clear all of these inputs. So I'm going to do os.system. And this OS module is actually really interesting. I recommend that you go out and research this module because it's really cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can learn a lot of cool stuff, and you can learn to do a lot of cool things in Python if you study this module and research it. So then we're going to clear the screen, and then we're going to print the answer. We're going to print answer. Okay, so let's see what it does. I'm going to say factorial. I'm going to say 3, and it gives me the answer. And if I get rid of this os.system clear screen thing, then watch the difference, though. I just want you to see this. Factorial 3, and it still has all of this stuff that's unneeded up here. So that's kind of where this method really comes into play, and it's important. Now, lastly, we're going to want to use this history file. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new variable called history. And history is basically going to be assigned to this file. Make sure that when you put the file directory, or like the file location, make sure that you put it in quotations. And make sure that you don't use these quotations. Make sure you use the double quotations. And then we're going to say open dot slash. And what this dot slash does is it automatically tells Python or whatever compiler you're using that this file that we're trying to open right here is in the exact same folder as this. So this calculator.py file is in the exact same folder as the calculator history file. So we can use dot slash. However, if you put this file in some different folder, you have to put the full location. So I'm going to put open dot slash calculator calculator.txt. And then we're going to do history Oh, and also there's a second parameter in here. In the second parameter, you tell it what you want to do, what mode you're going to use this file in. So if you put an R in here, that means you're going to read from the file. That basically means that you want to just read bits from the file. You don't want to change any of the file. You don't want to change the text in there. W means you want to empty the file. You want to get rid of everything that's in there and restart it. A means you want to add to the file. So we'll be using A for today's purposes. We're going to do history.write or write lines. And then we're going to put the lines that we want to put here. So we're going to say, or actually no, just write, not write lines. What's wrong with me? History.write. And we're going to make an F string. An F string allows you to put variables in the middle of a string. Call variable values into the middle of a string. So we're going to say the factorial of, and in the brackets. So when you create an F string, whenever you want to put a variable in the middle of the string, you put brackets around the name of the variable. Of num is, and then brackets, answer. Easy as that. And then you want to close the file. So history.close. And my Alexa in the background. That's just my Alexa. I'm gonna run this, and I'm gonna type in factorial. I'm gonna say I want to find the factorial of 3. And as you can see, why didn't it write in the file? Let me try this again. I'm gonna say factorial. I'm gonna say 3, and it's still not putting it in here. Oops, that's not the name of the file. It's actually calculator history. Alright, so now let me try it. Make sure that you have the name right in there. Factorial 3, and see, it added it to this file. Let me just try it again to make sure that my computer's not drunk or something. I'm going to say factorial 4, and there you go. But now, as you can see here, it added it onto the same line. Put the answer on the same line. So we want to separate these lines. So we're going to put a /n in the beginning. What that's going to do is it's going to put this onto a new line, onto a separate line. So I'm just going to get rid of that, and I'm going to try this again. I'm going to say factorial, it's obvious, 3. And now, as you can see, it wrote it onto separate line this time. Now, lastly, we're going to want to do os.system. os.open. And what that's going to do is it's going to open up a file. So I'm going to put, and I'm going to, you have to open your file explorer now, and you have to look for your Python file, your calculator file. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to find my file real quick. What was it called? It was called calculator. Here it is. And I'm going to have to copy this directory into here. I'm going to put double slashes everywhere because you have to put double slashes, otherwise it won't be able to read the file properly. Okay, and let's run this one last time. Hopefully it'll work. Factorial 3, and it gives us an issue. It says opening is missing, So I kind of forgot how to do this, so we'll search it. Open files OS module. Python. and that should open the file. So os.open, and so we're missing a requirement. That's what it's saying. So what are we missing? Instead of open, let's do run files. That's probably better. Those are probably better keywords. This is weird. Well, anyway, since I'm having trouble finding that out right now, that should be it for this video, and I'll start off the next video explaining how to do this part right here. But I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe, and watch out for the next video because we'll be working more on this calculator. And I hope you like this video again. So thank you for watching, and see you later. You guys are awesome.